So welcome to episode 1 of Views from Depressed. My name is Jun Lewis, and in this episode, I'm gonna try and explain myself a little bit and really open up and get you guys to know me, and let anyone who wants to know, anyone who cares to listen, to just get to know me, who I am, and how I lived these past 24 years. Just because it's been an experience, and I'd love to start documenting it right now, to be honest with you. I think right now is the perfect time. And I would love to find more people who are like me. And the only way to do that is to completely, genuinely just be myself. Just, be what you want to attract. So without further ado, I'll start with my diagnoses. Diagnoses. It's not serious. I know some people are like way worse, and like this isn't for sympathy or anything. Like a lot of people know me. Like I'm very open with my shit. Like I have a sad face tattoo on my calf, because people are gonna see that sad face tattoo on my calf, and every single time I always get the question, why do you have a sad face on your leg? And that's just to start a conversation that needs to be had a lot more times. Like a lot more people, if a lot more people came forward with it, it would be, and just talked about it, it would be a lot easier for more people to come out and talk about it. Do you know what I mean? And like I get people, people are shocked when I say depression. Like, every time it goes like this. They're like, why do you have a sad face on your leg? And I'm like, here we go. So like I might just like ruin their whole day. And then I'm like, it's because I have depression. Like I just want everyone to know that I have it. And look at me, I'm a happy-go-lucky guy. I seem to be always smiling, as people say. And I guess you never really know what people are going through. But it's like my heart on my sleeve in a way. It's just me, again, putting myself out there, because you know how many people I've met who've also told me like, hey, like I've been there, man. And I've gotten so much great advice. Like there's this one girl I'll never forget. Like there's people that you meet because when you're just genuinely you, and those experiences are genuine experiences, and like that shit is what helps you grow as a person. Like this girl, I don't even remember her name. I don't remember really what she looks like too much, but I remember we went to go play volleyball. I could probably dig into it, but we went to go play volleyball with my buddies, and she saw my tattoo and she asked, and she told me, hey, like I've been there, and she was a bit older than me, and she told me one of the best things that she did for herself was like to just travel and like get out and like go, man, because like the world's so big, right? To see something is completely different than to see it in a picture or to see it on a video. Like to experience that place is different. Like there's no comparison. So that's my goal for now, is to travel. And today probably marks day 1 of like me recording my journey, because that's my goal. Hopefully with like in a couple, I don't plan to just go like that, obviously. I want to save some money and I just go figure it out, man. But I'm not even sure if I've told you guys my diagnosis yet. I suffer from depression. It's like severe depression, but it's okay. Cool. I'm on meds now, so we're chilling. Like meds are crazy. We'll get into that though. Don't worry. But so that depression, general anxiety, social anxiety, and ADHD. But when you're diagnosed as an adult, like I was diagnosed like after high school and stuff, because number one, it's so hard to get diagnosed. Number two, yeah, refer back to number one. yeah, it was just difficult. I remember I went to my doctor when I was in grade 9, and I was like I can't focus. Like I literally couldn't focus. I like even now like I can't read, man. Like I can read, like I'm not dyslexic. Like I'm literate. I'm very literate, but my brain moves way too fast for everything. That's why like I have to take a second before I speak so I can find the proper word. And I like to find the proper word. So I try and really choose my words carefully, because if I have the time to take, I will. But yeah, like if you can see right now, like I'm fidgety as shit. Like it's just like I knew I had ADHD, but he told me like it's difficult to get diagnosed. I don't know why. The ADHD is just there's such a spectrum, I guess. Do you know what I mean? And I just learned to mask it through all of elementary school, because that's what school does, right? School is literally like prison. It just teaches you to like act this way. If you don't, in the hall, we're calling your parents. You're gonna get suspended. You're gonna get kicked out if you don't do and fucking say exactly what we want. Like, you know what I mean? That's what school is essentially. And in that was in elementary school, but in high school I wanted to do better, but I realized I couldn't. So I tried to like see like maybe but at the end of the day, like he gave me a form to give to my teachers, and my teachers just brushed it off too. Like I gave them to you know how in high school you have 4 different teachers for like the first semester, obviously. I gave each form to each teacher, and I didn't get 1 form back. Do you know what I mean? That's just how it is. Because teachers are like, like they just brush it off sometimes. And that kind of sucks, man. Like teachers play such an important role in so many of our lives. And some of them are really shitty fucking people. Like you probably spend more time with teachers than you do your parents at one point in your life. Do you know what I mean? Because you're at school, they're at work. And they don't really care for your well-being, some of them. And that's not really fair. You know, like that's really not fair. But that's life. That's why at the end of the day, you have to realize that. And I hope after this episode, you'll realize that you have to really have to just take care of yourself. Because my journey with like depression, like my meds and stuff have been crazy, man. So as I said, school is like a prison. I love that analogy. I came up with this analogy, and I will like take this. I love it just because I don't even know if it makes sense. So you guys tell me if it makes sense. So someone tell me if it makes sense. So I remember watching Shawshank Redemption. I remember watching it and reading it in English class, and the character gets released from prison, and he becomes depressed, and he hangs himself and he kills himself. But he just got released from prison. It's like, why would he do that? It was because he was institutionalized. And what happens when you're institutionalized is you become accustomed to like acting a certain way and behaving a certain way, like living in a certain society, that you're just given too much freedom at once, and it's just overwhelming, and you just can't handle it. So killed himself. So I kind of I know it's dark, but I use that towards school. Like I learned how to cope and mask my depression, anxiety. I learned how to mask all that shit. Like I was popular in high school. Like I had like a good time in high school, but I just learned how to like just mask myself, and I tried to blend in as much as I could, and I ended up like my blending in is sticking out in a way. But yeah, but I just masked it. I masked it for so long because I was so busy. My mind was so distracted with school, and I didn't have even time to think to myself. And in school, they don't teach you anything about yourself. Like no one teaches you anything about yourself, which is crazy if you think about it. You're just supposed to learn about yourself on your own with no guidance. But yet school teaches us the War of 1812. I like this podcast. I want to this shit should be taught in school. Like stories of how people have like just gone by and lived, and like the things that we're going to endure and stuff like that, and how to get through them. That's what should be taught. Not what happened so long ago. What's the purpose in that? But at the end of the day, like I said before, you're the only person that you have to rely on. So I didn't really get diagnosed until after I stopped going to my like orthopedic. No, fuck. What the fuck's a child doctor, bro? Whatever. Yeah, child doctor. When I graduated to a family doctor. So when I went to him, I was what happened when I went to him? How did I get diagnosed? You know what happened, man? All right. So after high school, had a shit ton of free time, man. Too much free time. That shit'll kill you. An idle mind is a devil's playground. And I just didn't know who I was for a long time. And I realized like I needed help at like the age of like 20, I think. 20 or 19, I can't remember. I was like I don't know what I was, bro. I also lost my dad at like the age of 17. But that was whatever, bro. That was like, that's why I don't know. I kind of feel like that's a superpower. The fact that I went through that. The fact that I lost my dad. I feel like that's a superpower. And I'm proud to have that shit. I'm proud that I lost my dad in a way. In a weird fucking way. Because I genuinely have nothing to lose anymore. In a way. I know it's a sad, like, let me explain. I've gone through that. Like, that was, like, my dad was my best friend. And it sucks because I am only starting to realize that as the years go on without him. So as the years go on, I realize how close we were and how alike we were. And that shit's painful. But if I can do that, I can do anything, right? At this point. Because what am I afraid of? Death? I'm not afraid to die. I invite death, to be honest with you. Because I know death is not easy. People don't die easily. You know, people survive miracles every day. Just miracles. There's no explanation. Because it just wasn't their time. So when it's your time, what are you supposed to do? You can't avoid it. So that's why I feel so relieved. And I feel like, and the fact that there's so many people who don't have the mentality, and the fact that there's so many people who are scared of death. Like, why are you scared of death? Death is beautiful. Do you want to live forever? That is brutal, man. Living forever is brutal because to live is to suffer. To live is to suffer. It's just ups and downs. That's all life is, man. Every roller coaster. But every time it gets bigger, They don't get small. They don't get big. They don't get small. They're bigger. It's like just a game of life. That's why you just gotta keep going head on, man. That's what I'm trying to do with this. So yeah, so I was in a bad place. Lost my dad, and I was like, I was just like, you know what? Like, I didn't think like I needed help. Like, no one ever thinks that you need help. But like, I realized my situation, and I realized it wasn't going anywhere. I realized the path that it was going was terrible, and like I would rather die than continue to go on down that path, because that path was just brutal. But um, so I told my mom I needed help, and that was like pretty much a breaking point, and like we just went to the ER. So we went to the ER, and because like I didn't know where else to go. Like I was just like, Mom, I can't live like this anymore. That's what I told. I couldn't live. I didn't want to die. I just wanted to stop existing, because I couldn't kill myself. I can't kill myself, man. That shit's couldn't do that. But if I could just press delete, that'd be fucking awesome. That'd be so sick. Like no one's asked to live. That's why to live is to suffer. And like no one's asked to be put here. No one's asked to be put here to play these games, to get a 9 to 5, to work, to struggle, to feel stress, to feel all this shit. No one asked for this shit, bro. Why can't we just still be in fucking the galaxy, you know what I mean? Or wherever we were before this, at peace. We're brought here to suffer. We're brought from peace to suffer, which just blows my mind. But I keep getting off topic, but I went to the hospital. And this is where it gets kind of fucked, where like I don't trust nobody. I just I wasn't, so I'm not suicidal, and I didn't cut my I don't, and I didn't self-harm either. I just coped with marijuana. Like I smoked a shit ton of marijuana. That's what I did. That's how I coped. So, and that's what I was like dependent on. And so yeah, I went to the hospital, and I was just really depressed. I remember it was like All-Star weekend. So me and my mom were watching dunk competition on my phone. Shit like that I love. Shit like that is fucking love, man. Me and my mom watching fucking some dunks. Oh, Mom, you see that dunk? In the fucking ER hospital. And because I wasn't like suicidal or anything, like no one takes you seriously, because you're not serious. And like I agree. Like there's people who needed more help at the time. So we ended up waiting there for like hours, man. Hours. And then I did get to see someone. And then I got to see someone to book an appointment with someone. And then I booked an appointment with someone. I went to the appointment. It was a psychiatrist from the hospital. So I show up there. And obviously, like, I'm nervous. Like, I'm going to see a psychiatrist. It's kind of fucked if you think about it. Like, psychiatrist, oof. And I'm going to the hospital. And I'm going to, like, the psychiatric wing of the hospital, because I'm a patient there. So then I see this doctor, and I see two doctors. I see one, like, kind of like social worker, I guess, and one regular doctor. And they're talking, and like I'm like, yeah, like I just really want help and stuff. And then he's like, okay, like, do you want to treat? And I was telling him like myself. I told him, I was like, I think I have depression. I think I have anxiety. I think I have blah blah blah. All this stuff. And he's like, I thought he was gonna diagnose me, but like I was diagnosing myself. Like I got diagnosed later on by another doctor, but this guy was just fucking. I thought he was gonna diagnose me, but I was diagnosing myself to him. And then he's like, "So what do you want to treat?" And I'm like, fuck. So I was like, you know what? Like I think my ADHD causes so many thoughts. And because there's so many thoughts, there's bound to be bad ones. So I was like, you know what? If I can calm that ADHD down, calm down my thoughts, maybe I can, calm down my thoughts and have a lot less bad thoughts, because it was a lot of bad thoughts, man. That's a lot of bad thoughts. But if I could just calm it down, I think I could handle it. So he's like, okay, do you want like Adderall or like Vyvanse? And I was like, fuck, Adderall? What the fuck, man? I don't like. In my head, I was saying this. I was like, I don't want Adderall. Like Adderall's kind of fucked. Like I don't think I need that shit. And then I think because I know Concerta, because I don't know. I just know Concerta. So I was like, I think Concerta would be like cool. So he's like, okay, writes me a fucking prescription for Concerta, gives it to me. He's like, come back in like 4 weeks. I'm like, okay, what the fuck? So I get this shit. I started doing the Concerta, and honestly, it felt like for the first week, it felt cool. Like it felt a lot different. Like that's how I knew that I have ADHD. I don't even need this. That's how I knew I have like ADHD. And because the Concerta worked. Like I remember it so vividly. I was going to work, and like this is the work I was doing too at the time, which is why it relates to like why I was such in a bad place. Like I was like picking up garbage. I just remember like I was like, whoa, I'm just picking up garbage. Like I'm not doing anything else. Like I'm just picking up garbage. Like I don't have a fucking thought in my head. Like everything's just like, whoa, man. Like that's how I knew. I was like, wow, this shit's dope. And then so 4 weeks go by, and I'm starting to feel like, because there's side effects, right? And it really hurt my stomach and shit like that. So I'm not feeling too good. So I go for my follow-up appointment. It's a different doctor with, I guess, a different social worker too. I can't remember if it was the same one or a different one. It might have been the same one, but they were really irrelevant. Like they talked to me, but they were really irrelevant. And so the doctor I first saw was a fill-in doctor. And this doctor was the main doctor who wasn't in that day, I guess, which is kind of crazy. That I talked to a fill-in doctor, and he was like, hey man, you want Adderall? Like he was like a drug dealer, bro. Yeah, so I came up to him. I told him my so I went to the main doctor, like the hospital's physician, who's a full-time guy. And I told him, like, I was like, I'm not feeling too good. Like, these Concerta is kind of hurting my head and stuff. And he's like, he starts looking at my stuff. Just looking, he's like, I can't diagnose you and all this shit. I'm like, what? Turns out, I went there, like, I needed help with like the Concerta, but he didn't write me the prescription. And he didn't want to be like liable for me. So he said, like, I don't know, like you can continue it if you want, but I can't like help you. Like I can't diagnose you. You need to go somewhere else for that. So here I am like 4 weeks on Concerta, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, am I even supposed to be taking this shit? And at that moment, like I just never felt like so alone. Like that's when I realized that I'm coming here to, like, I'm at my lowest. I'm coming here to get help. Like, this is where I'm supposed to get help. And this guy's telling me, like he can't help me. Like, I'm here. He's like, no, I can't diagnose. I don't know why he couldn't. He couldn't. Like, he just, and he didn't want to give me medical, like, he couldn't give me medical advice. And because he couldn't diagnose me, he couldn't re-prescribe me the Concerta. So I had to go somewhere else. And I go somewhere else. Where was I? I was at the hospital. Huh? Where am I supposed to go? Yeah, but that's when I was like, fuck. No one's gonna do it but me, man.